Well, hi everyone. Today I have my Tektronix. This is the TAS 465 2-channel 100 megahertz oscilloscope. I got it on the bench today. I did have it over here just under the old 465, but I wanted to move it over to the other bench, so I have a decent scope over there to use when I'm working on something. I'm working on a Sony V-21, about to finish it up, and I need a good oscilloscope over there on that bench, so we'll move this one. But this one has some annoying little problems with it that I wanted to go ahead and address. It's going to be a short video because it's not very hard to do, and what we're going to do is show you how to take it out of the case, how to take it apart, get inside of it. I'll even go ahead and show you how to change the fan. Now the fan in this one is not that bad. Once in a while it'll make a little noise, but it's not too bad. But one of the problems that I've had with it over the last year, and it's probably been the biggest reason why I haven't used it that much. Switch to this scope probe. Now this probe is not compensated for this oscilloscope. The other probe is, but I got to dig and find my clip to put on it. But you can see the trace wiggles around a lot. And sometime when you touch the front of it, it'll do some crazy things. Right now it seems to be holding okay. Switch back to the probe that I've been using. Now I didn't give but $100 for this scope, and it came with quite a few probes. And you see even with this probe that it's still kind of shaky a little bit. But every once in a while especially when you're messing with the front buttons, the horizontal will stretch out and the square wave will come round on one side. And all of this is just dirty contacts, dirty connectors. So what we'll do, we'll pull this down. I was hoping it would go ahead and do it. Sometime it does it right away, sometime it might run for 20-30 minutes or so, but I'm not seeing it happen at this moment. Alright, the other problem that it has is that no channel 2. Cannot get channel 2 to work. Takes you have to hit these buttons a couple of times, and then you see the information is coming on. This button's actually working. There it goes. You see the horizontal just jumped out, and to get it back you had to actually manually turn the horizontal knob to get it to go back on. So let's go ahead, we'll unpower it, and I'll show you how to take the scope apart. Now, just so you know, it does not matter where you have the tilting handle at, if you got it forward or back or whatever. It doesn't matter whatsoever. First thing you want to do is remove this one screw. We're going to use a T15 by 4 Torx driver. Pull that one screw out. Come on the back. Disconnect the power cord, let it hang down, and you'll have 4 screws. That you'll need to pull out of this plastic base. There we go. Slide this to the side. Now just grab the plastic base, pull it right off. Power cord stays with it. Get that out of the way. Now, to get this thing out of the case. I know a lot of people have had hard time getting it out. Sometimes it'll get grime and dirt around this front, and this thing will stick. Like I said, handle in the up position, doesn't really matter. It just works better keeping it up. Put your fingers on the side, come in the middle, give it a push. You heard a click. And if you pushed it right, it should slide completely out. As you can see, inside, the tilting handle is completely flush on the inside. There's nothing engaging into the chassis like it is on some scopes. Now sometimes you might see some clips that has been stuck in here that has held the front of the case in. My particular scope does not have those, but I'll show you what one looks like. These little clips here, and they would be locked into these little tabs up here on the front, like here on these little tabs, and it will lock in here like so. Just come off of a different Tektronix scope, but like I say, mine doesn't have it. Now sometimes they can be a little hard to get out. Once you pull it back 1/4 of an inch, you can reach in here with a screwdriver, a little small flat blade screwdriver, and push down here. It'll then release and come back. So you can see inside of this scope, this whole area here is just completely empty, but it's made for cards to slide in for different things here on the back. This scope has none of the extra features. You can see up on this side we got 2 circuit boards. There's a small circuit board here for the front controls. Have our CRT, and then this is the power supply. If you need to take the power supply out, you remove these 2 torque screws. You'll disconnect a cable from this side. And there'll be a couple of cables here. You'll need to disconnect these and pull these out. And then the power switch is mounted here, and you have this plastic shaft that sticks right to the front. You can slide the whole power supply forward, lift up on this end, and then pull it straight out. Comes right out with no problem. So to get the fan out, you notice there's 4 pins here. There's also 2 push-in pins here. And what you'll need to do is push these pins in and push up on the fan. Takes a little bit of work, to get it out. I'll have to reposition it if I can get a better grip on it. So at this angle with the top of the scope towards you, you can now grab it in here, there, and it'll push right up, and you better work the fan right out of the scope. So if your fan has a rattle every now and then, it's not noisy all the time, but it does sometimes, you just take a knife, cut right here in the middle, and right inside you can see that little small bearing. You can see it turning in there. Just take you a drop of machine oil. Don't put a whole lot. Just put one little drop on it. And you can seal that right back up and reinstall the fan. Now to reinstall the fan, you'll get your two tabs here pointing towards you, the top of the scope face. Work it in there, it's a little tight, it'll go. Push it in, you'll hear them two tabs lock in, and you can plug the power back in the correct way. And to remove the front bezel, it's pretty simple. You need to get in here to check out everything and make sure everything is looking right. So just take a pair of pliers, I'm going to just use a piece of paper towel. I'm going to put on the knob, give it a straight pull, you'll see the whole control come out. Do every one of them the same way. And out. Sometimes when you pull these out, the plastic shaft will stay in and the knob will come off. Sometimes they don't. Doesn't hurt them whatsoever. They're just a little pivot right there, as you can see, and then the end has a little spring clip on it. And see, I'm pulling these out with hardly any force whatsoever. You just grab it and just pull straight out and they'll come right out. Now on the top and the bottom, you can see one clip, little plastic clip here, and on the other side you can see that plastic clip there. You'll have the same thing on the bottom. So to get these off, take a little, I'm just using a one of these little cobalt knives with a razor blade in it, because it'll slide right under there. You can use a sponger if you want to. Just give it a little push up. This one you can do it with your finger. Turn it over. You'll see the same thing on this side. The knife get under here. And you'll need to do the same thing with this side with the knife. It's almost hard to get your fingers in there. And then I'll go open up a little bit. Get a flat blade screwdriver under it. And there it goes. And we have the front faceplate off. So we want to get behind this front panel so we can check these ribbon canavles and clean the connectors. Also, while you got this open, you'll take some isopropyl alcohol and clean this flex strip, the contacts around it, clean them with some alcohol. But what we're going to do is take our same T15 bit we've been using, and we're going to remove these 4 screws on the front. These screws didn't need to be but about 6 millimeters long, and I think they got some 12 millimeter screws in them for some reason. Now we're going to have 4 screws here, 4 on each corner. Get those out of this oil. Now you can see our delay cable here. You can see this end is held in by what it looks like is one of those chassis connectors that would hold a fuse in place. Go ahead and disconnect the connector first, and then you can pop this right out. Do not pop this out without disconnecting this connector. If you do, chances are you're going to break the wires off the end of it. These cables here will pull straight out. This one is like a computer card cable. Just give it a little tug on each end. And now it's out when we get to our last screw here. Up one more cable here. Now this board will slide right out. Now we can get in here and I'll inspect our solder joints for our BNC cables. Okay, to get the front panel off where your keys are, look right over here to the side. Down in here is going to be a little clip. Push it forward, and this comes right out. And we can get down here and clean these controls and all these connectors. Now that we have our front keyboard off, we got two tabs here. Pull them back, lift up on the circuit board. That's what it is. There's a membrane in between here, and we know that our channel 2 doesn't work, so we probably need to clean this contacts on the back of that. Just gently push up here. You got your ground connector. In your once you get the edges worked up, there's a plastic tab here. Give it a push, and here we are. Now you can see our resistive contacts for our indicators, and they are dirty. And that's the two wipers for those indicators. So clean that with some good alcohol. All we need to do is just take a couple of Q-tips, and clean every one of the little touch pads. And also don't forget to clean your little spring wipers on your controls here. Well, at this point we can put this back on. Slide it down on there. Make sure your two terminals line up. Make sure all your push buttons are working. We'll put a little deox on the cables and put them back in. Now we got our front panel off and got it cleaned and got it reinstalled. Go ahead and clean the connectors on these two ribbon cables and all the other ribbon cables that are up on the top. It's real important that those cables are clean. If they're not clean, they're going to cause intermittent problems. Alright, now we got everything back together. We can go ahead and put our controls back in. And it's just real simple. Stick it in the hole, give it a push. And that's all it takes. Well, you got your front bezel off. Good time to go ahead and clean your filter. And it just pops right back in the back here. And then slide your front bezel back on. So everything's clicked in place. And there we are. And there we have it. As you can see, after a successful cleaning, everything is back working. We now have both channels on the display. I can change between the two channels now. As you can see, both channel 1 and channel 2 are working. All the controls are now back working. You hit clear screen, that takes everything off. Channel 1. So that's it. Just some simple little maintenance. Our trigger light is now on and working, and all it took was just cleaning some connectors and cleaning these little touch pads behind the push buttons, and everything is back where it should be. We can bring up our utilities menu now, clear that out. Horizontal menu is now working, clear that out. So that's it. So I hope this little tip helps some of you that owns these TAS 465s. Now I will tell you, it is not the scope that the old 465 is. A lot of difference. This is something that Tektronix came up with and released it, and it didn't sell very well. There were some other models of that scopes, 4 channels, that wasn't much more than what this one cost, so they didn't make this scope that long. And as you can see, there's hardly anything in it. It's a big huge scope, and it's half empty. Anyway, I hope this helped, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye now.